Hi there everyone, this is Tracy from Lavinia Stamps and welcome to another tutorial today. We're going to be creating a really nice background using our elements and our stencil brushes, and we're going to be stamping over the top, creating some really nice layers of colour, also doing a little bit of embossing as well. So I've got my multifarious card here. I think this is probably about a 5 by 5, 6 by 6, but you can cut it to whatever size square that you would like. So I'm going to start by actually stamping our fairy straight onto the card. I've got Nocturne here. So I'm going to ink her up, make sure she's covered, and then pop her down on the side here, probably in about the middle. So the reason I'm actually stamping her first, it's not something I would normally do, is because I want to build up the foliage under her, where she's sitting. And I just think it's easier to do it this way. And now I've got this lovely floral sort of wreath. There's 2 pieces to this set, but I'm just going to use the one. And then I'm just lining that up now, just to gauge where I'm going to actually stamp that down. I'm going to use the Twilight. And then I can line it up exactly where I want it to go, where she's sitting. Oops. So I'm going to ink up again. I'm going to take off. And I'm just going to bring that down in a slightly different place, so it's a little bit fainter. Okay, so now I've got her sitting exactly where I want her. I'm going to start colouring the background, and then we'll add more to this as we go along. So let's start with, I'm going to go with the line punch. I think this colour, or the yellow, is a great base colour. So if you're not confident with using your stencil brushes and colours onto your card, start with a lighter colour and bring in darker colours over the top. I think personally it blends a lot better when there's a base colour on first. It stops you getting lines. Okay. And now I'm going on to the Sahara. I'm taking plenty off to start with. And then I'm going to now move on to Bermuda. And this is a much darker colour, so very carefully I'm going to just gauge that and work from the edge to start with. you can really create some absolutely fabulous background just by using these elements and the stencil brushes. And if you want to create a little bit of texture, you can flick a little bit of water on. I'll show you that now. So, fan brush, and I'm going to tap a little bit of water over the top. I'm covering the fairy while I'm doing this so I don't get water over the top of her. I know that this is an oil-based ink and it doesn't react with water if you were to paint over the top, but I have actually splashed her with water before now, and it does actually give her sort of spots as well, so just be a bit mindful of that. It's not too bad, but if you don't want that to happen, then obviously just lightly cover your hand over the top. But you can see how well that water has now worked. It just pulls the colour out. Use your tissue, dab that up, and it creates a really nice texture. So I've got another little mini stamp here, and I'm going to use the Golden Meadow. And now I'm just going to start building up some leaves in the corners and on the top. It's amazing really to think that these are just pound stamps. You can create a whole foliage sort of forest effect just by using a couple of these. Okay, now I've got another little stamp here. This comes in a set, it's a wreath set, but again, if you haven't got it, just use what you have got. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as what I'm using. Just want to bring in another little bit of colour. And this is a little stamp of our swirl set, which is this one here. Okay, so this one's a really handy one to have as well. I'm going to ink up in the Shady Lane. And then going back to the Bermuda, taking that ink off, I'm just going to run that just where she's sitting. Just by giving it a little bit of depth, it looks like she is sitting on it rather than that you've just stamped over the top. She's actually in the foliage. I'm going to use the Summertime again. just to do a few bits of hanging foliage down as well. And the beauty of some of these stamps, you know, you can just turn them around. So you can have them coming up or going down. I'm going to use a slightly darker colour now. So this is Twilight. And just to get that little bit of depth again, I've put my colour on, but now I want to get some depth. Okay. I've got myself a nice little vase here as well. So this time I'm going to ink up in the Golden Meadow. I want it to be nice and light so it's very subtle and in the background. So stamping over to one side, and again underneath. I've just got some nice words going down the side there. Okay, I'm going to dry this off now. Using the anti-static bag again. And I'm going to put a little bit of embossing in the corners here. So going back to a mini stamp, I'm going to ink up in the Versamark. And let's use the opaque vanilla white. Just use my brush to take any of those bits that I don't want. So let's heat that up. And you can see just doing that little bit of embossing, it changes the whole card. I get quite excited about embossing, I must say. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more embossing down at the bottom here now, so I'm picking a different flourish and I'm going to go in, ink that up a few times. I'll do one over here, one or two, just to balance that out a little. And I'm going to use the white again. So make sure that that is completely dry, and then I'm going to now take the graphite and I'm going to bring a little of that over the top of the white, just to tone it down a little. Now if you're happy with that just being that white, that's great, that's absolutely fine. I just want to tone it down a little. I'm going to go around the edge of the card again. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom here. Just tone that colour down just a bit. And now I'm going to use my Posca pen. I'm just going to dot. The Poscas stand out brilliantly on a dark background. So just adding a few little dots gives it another layer of magic. Okay. So lastly, I think I'm going to just add a little bit of glitter. We've got some, what colour is this one? Golden blood. I'm just using my finger, I'm just going to smooth that over. I'll put a little bit in the corners here as well. Okay, so hopefully you can see that under the light there, that lovely glitter. Something else that I've got here as well is some foil, and I've not actually played too much with this, so I'm going to just show you. We've just had these Zig glue pens in, and they're slightly thicker than our glue pen. And I'm just going to dot some of that over the top. Wait till that goes clear and it goes really tacky, and then it will take your foil. If you put the foil on too soon, it won't take. So make sure that, so just give it a few minutes. If you're in a rush, like I am at the moment, then just use your heat gun, go over the top. Even have a feel. That is really quite tacky now. So remember to do the metallic side up, and then I'm just going to rub over the top. and I can see where the dots are coming through. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can see that lovely foil there that we've used. And that's just another technique to give you a bit of a sparkle, a bit of a metallic look. So that's it, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed today's demo and taught you a few different techniques on how to create your cards. You take care, and we'll see you next week.